What are some of the other things that you recommend to up and coming podcasters, content creators that are starting out right now, that are trying to break into the space? There's a tremendous amount of saturation right now. How do I find a lane? How do I break through? I'm just starting a channel right now. Which platform should
Yeah.
I be trying to get on? I mean, I think a lot of people have these questions, and you, as someone who's now been in the space for a couple of years, I think could give them some pretty good advice as someone who's grown a channel pretty decently and organically, and in my opinion, the right way. So
Yeah. Well, well,
I'll
thank you
hand you
for
the
the
mic.
kind words. First of all, thank, I really appreciate that. But if someone wants to get started now, in terms of finding like, oh, like what's the style, what's like my like, area of focus and all that, like if you're thinking about these things, just don't, it'll come naturally as the journey progresses. At least that's how it was for me. Just start out, talk about whatever you want, and from what you see in the news. If you feel like you have a great take on it, just talk about it. If you have a lot of evidence to back up a certain story, present that to people. We especially need more people in the space that can put scoops out there. Talk about some stories that's not being talked about enough. Like, for example, what Robbie Yeager is doing in the Colonial Pipeline crisis. No, hardly anyone's talking about that, even within independent media. So we really need more people like that. And then, as before you realize it, you'll realize that you already have like some kind of like a niche in this space after you see, oh yeah, it is true. I've been mostly talking about these stories, and this is how like if I have guests on, this is how like I talk to them and all that. A lot of those things will come naturally. Collaborate with people. That's a huge thing right now. Before, there wasn't as many collaborations back around like 2016, 2017. That's when YouTube wasn't as authoritarian on their platform, right? Before, like, I used to listen to like again, I mentioned Kyle and Humanist Report and Jimmy Dore. They knew each other, but there wasn't as much collaboration. Their channels grew a lot because there wasn't as much censorship. Now, because of all the censorship, it's really hard to find our channels and all that. So the easiest way for people to find your channel is if you collaborate with other people. I mean, you have in INN is made up of all these people that collaborate with each other, right? And all these networks also collaborate with each other. RBN, MCSC Network,
Roar,
INN,
roar,
Roar Media.
Hardlands. Yep, for sure. And
We're
that's
all
how we've
friends
been
with each
doing it.
other. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. We all help each other out. We all help push stories out there, and we all learn a lot from each other. And if we really want changes to start arising in this country, we're going to have to be more open-minded and be open to learning from each other. Don't be so dogmatic and think you have it all figured out, because believe me, you really don't have it all figured out. Things go really, really deep. And the only way you're going to figure that out is if you're open to hearing from other people.
Yeah, just remember we all have a common goal, and I think for the
Yeah.
most part we are all aligned in most of those common goals. Once in a while we're going to disagree. I mean, I don't know any people that literally agree 100% across the board. So it's just about finding the areas where you have common ground, and then figure out how do we meet in the middle? How do we work together to educate, to amplify, to do this again together? And that's how the only way that we can do this. Right now there are so many factions and so many forces that are in play to try to divide, especially ahead of an election year, where you've got people that are like us that are saying, look, the Democrats are offering nothing, the Republicans offer even less. Either way, you're completely screwed, and we only really advocate for voting independent or third party wherever you can, and ballot measures if you're even going to vote at all. A lot of people believe that the machines really are controlled, and the entire system really is controlled, and we really have no decision making in the process. The laws and the statistics have shown that unless you are a mega donor, that is able to bundle that your influence is pretty much minuscule to none with a politician, and all they're going to do is platitude us until they get to their next donor and to their next election and to their next race.
Yeah.
Look, some of the people who have the biggest coffers right now in Congress are the ones that are quote unquote uncorrupted, that only take that are supposedly only taking small dollar donations from the public, but meanwhile they've got over $1 million plus they're starting to fund and trying to fund corporate Democrats, because we've seen this happening. Once they give money to the DCCC, we know where that money ends up going. Once they give that money to the the DSCC as well, the same thing. We know where that money is going. That's being funneled to consultants. That money is being funneled to lobbyists. That money is being funneled to agencies and corporate media. It's just, which is only going to make the problem further exacerbated and bigger, and give them even more control over the microphone and over what's said and who gets to say it. That's why we're doing what we're doing in independent media.